Good morning. I'm Reverend Susan Chorley, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. Welcome to First Parish Unitarian Universalist in Medfield. This 1789 church is the third on this site, which was unceded land of the Nipmuc Indians. We are a progressive church serving Medfield and nearby towns like Norfolk, Millis, Dover, Westwood, and Walpole. Regardless of your religious or ethnic background, or your birthplace or theology, or your income or your political party, we're glad that you're here. We're glad you're here regardless of your abilities or disabilities, whether you're gay, straight, bisexual, transgender, or queer, or even identify outside of those bounds. As Unitarian Universalists, we are united by our covenant, which is printed on the inside back of your order of service cover. Our covenant, the promises we make to each other, our movement, and to the wider world, rather than a particular set of beliefs. The 7 principles or values of Unitarian Universalism, which you can find in the front of the gray hymnal, are the substance of our promises. If this is your first time with us, a special welcome to you, and please be sure to stop by the welcome table in the narthex to connect with folks who can answer any questions that you may have, and encourage you to look through your order of service carefully and note any announcements that are in there. And then there was a late breaking announcement, or maybe early breaking announcement, from Reverend Dave, who shared that he wants to invite folks to join him this coming Saturday in the rally, the hands-off rally that's on the Boston Common. Anyone is welcome to join. He said to gather near the Parkman Bandstand on the Boston Common at 11 a.m. And to call or text him once you get there. He also included to let you all know that he misses you very much and is very excited to be, well, I don't know about very excited, but he's going to be back in the office. I added the very excited. He's going to be back in the office starting on Monday, March 31st from 9 to 2 p.m. And he would love for any of you to stop by for a visit. It's a privilege and an honor to be here with all of you and worship today, and look forward to what we celebrate and focus on and honor in this time.
The sacred power of justice. We light this flame to ignite the sacred power of justice. We light this flame so that it may be a beacon of hope in moments of uncertainty, fear, anxiety, and the unknown. We light this flame and are emboldened by its blaze, knowing our strength as a prophetic and powerful people is rooted in the diverse ways we answer the call to love.
Hear these words by Reverend Rebecca Savage as our call to worship. It's entitled, "Justice is Our Prayer." We gather together today with sacred intention to declare that justice is our prayer. We affirm in the covenant with the beloved community that is possible, not here, not quite yet. The seeds have been planted time and again, and we remember all those who went before us, who made beloved community a dream that could be realized. Justice is our prayer. May our time of worship together continue to water the budding trees of our diverse interdependence. May our time of worship give air and nourishment to the parts of our collective spirits that need to grow and thrive, that embrace equity as a known way of being. Justice is our prayer. We affirm in covenant with the beloved community that it is possible. May it be so. Let us worship now together. Please rise in body or in spirit to sing together hymn number 126, "Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing."
Songs of loudest praise. Oh,
I invite you now to join me in a time of prayer and meditation. You're invited to keep your eyes open or close your eyes or soften your eyes, whatever feels the most comfortable for you. Invite you, if you can, to have both of your feet grounded on the floor. And invite you to touch in to your spirit, to what you are holding, to what we heard in the joys and sorrows shared, to what the world is holding in this time. Notice your breath. Notice where you may be holding tension or pain in your body. And in these next few inhales and exhales, allow yourself to send gentleness, care, and loving kindness within your body, within this community, and even reaching out into the world. May we be reminded of our sacredness and our goodness, the strength even in our vulnerability, and the power we share through love and compassion. May we recognize the connections and the interconnections shared among humans in this room, with our ancestors in the great beyond, and with every living being on this sacred planet. May we be reminded throughout our day, throughout our week ahead, that we can find ourselves in our breath, that in slowing down we can connect, recognizing the holiness within and the sacred moments in each of our days. May we have a spirit of gratitude for this time, for this space, and even for our practice of finding ourselves in our breath, and in the many ways we offer ourselves to the spirit and the goodness in our world. Amen, and blessed be. Hear these words from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verses 13 through 19. This is from the translation entitled The Message. Everyone's after the dishonest dollar, little people and big people alike. Prophets and priests and everyone in between twist words and doctor truth. My people are broken, shattered, and they put on band-aids saying, "It's not so bad, you'll be just fine." But things are not just fine. Do you suppose they are embarrassed over this outrage? No, they have no shame. They don't even know how to blush. There's no hope for them. They've hit bottom and there's no getting up. As far as I'm concerned, they're finished. God has spoken. God's message yet again. Go, my people, stand at the crossroads and look around. Ask for directions to the old road, the tried and true road. Then take it. Discover the right route for your souls. But they responded, nothing doing. We aren't going that way. I even provided watchmen for them to warn them, to set off the alarm, but the people said, it's a false alarm. It doesn't concern us. And so, I'm calling in the nations as witnesses. Watch, witnesses, what happens to them. And pay attention, earth. Don't miss these bulletins. I'm visiting catastrophe on this people and the end result of the games they've been playing with me. They've ignored everything I've said and had nothing but contempt for my teaching. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be righteous, compassionate, and loving in this time. Give us eyes to see and ears to hear and courage to step out without any fear. Give us wisdom to know the way to go. God be with us, Spirit be with us. God be with us on this journey of faith. Over these last few months, I have found myself drawn, in some ways, to my youth and the time that I learned how to sing that song at youth conferences, but also drawn to the prophets. Drawn to the prophets because they have a way of showing real feeling, both grief and outrage. And I don't know about you, but I've been feeling a little bit of grief and outrage. But also, what I notice about these words from Jeremiah and other laments and prophecies from the Hebrew Testament is that there is a sense of love, of open-heartedness. For in fact, we cannot experience or show grief or rage if we don't also have deep love. We hear these words from the book of Jeremiah today, hearing him angry and heartsick. Sometimes when I read them, it sounds like a really angry parent. And as a parent myself of a now 23-year-old, I do feel that he should have followed so much more of my wisdom and righteousness in his life. I'm kidding, right? But we know those moments where we feel, if only you had followed the way that I had shown you. But no, we must find our own way. The prophet Jeremiah is looking out at a world that has been destroyed, his beloved Jerusalem and his people, their sense that they have been lost. The commitment to the poor and the oppressed has gone by the wayside, and they've lost that sense of a gritty faith that is connected to humanity, connected to slowing down and showing up, connected to being and recognizing the importance of care and compassion. The great Hebrew scholar Walter Brueggemann talks about the context in which the prophets are writing. Fascinating to me and to him that we have gone so many years since these words have been written, and yet there is so much truth in them. The context we find Jeremiah in, and I think we find ourselves in, is this sense that wealth is dominating, that there's an uprise in the military and showing those effects in the world, and that somehow God has become anemic and brushed to the side. Only the elite are welcome, and there is no alternative thinking. There is only one way. But what's beautiful about what Brueggemann shares with us that the prophets are possible and bringing into this world is that they get to imagine, and we get to imagine with them, a different world. We know it. We know it in the ways that these young people were sharing, maybe not always with video games, but maybe also with them, the ways that we find ourselves and need a different way of being, creating a new path and understanding, and not just separating ourselves out and saying we will just put little band-aids on this problem, but no, in fact, saying we want something more. That the possibility of something beyond what we can see is there. In the prophetic imagination of the biblical text, God is active. God is relevant. God is alive, and in that aliveness, we too are brought into life. We too find ourselves as co-creators of this grand idea of creating a new world, a new heaven, a new earth. That us next to one another, fighting for justice, fighting for a new and different way, is possible. In his talk in 2020, before a group of faith leaders in Washington, D.C., Walter Brueggemann talks about the need for a revisioning of us as church, a revisioning of us as leaders in this moment and in this movement. 2020 may feel like a really long time ago, but I do still feel that what he is offering to us resonates. Brueggemann is inviting us into a time, and what I think Unitarian Universalists have done so well, a time of a commitment, a greater commitment to the planet. A time that we are recognizing that we are not the only ones that are the chosen ones. And in fact, chosen ones are not just white Western Christians. But how do we find and create allyships across difference for justice and holiness? So a commitment to the planet, a chance to sort of step away from this sense that we are the only ones who are chosen, an invitation to a new economy, organized around love of neighbor and committed to the viability of widows, immigrants, and orphans. Brueggemann talks about it as a policy of redistribution of wealth. And finally, again, what I see Unitarian Universalism pushing us towards, and the beauty of diversity, equity, and inclusion within our world, a sense of embrace around multiculturalism. There isn't only one way. There are multiple ways for us to be connected with one another and see wisdom, justice, care, and beauty in and within us all. This practice of prophetic imagination requires a lot of us, and many of us are feeling weary. But the excitement of an opportunity to feel that we are connected within our energy, our courage, and the desire for freedom can bring us forward. A sense of being outside of the dominant culture. Just 2 weeks ago, I was introduced to a book, you may have heard of it, entitled "One Day Everyone Will Have Been Against This," by a journalist and writer. His name is Omar El-Akkad. He's an Egyptian man and has many roots in Palestine. To be honest with you, I haven't wanted to face the destruction and the terror that is happening in the Middle East. I've in many ways shut myself off from it. It just has felt like too much. I don't know if any of you have felt any way similar, but it's felt painful. And I've been caught in the middle of this sense of it's us against them. I've seen so many of my activist friends immediately and quickly and harshly standing for Palestine, people that I have such strong love and care for, and then hearing from many folks, Jews and others connected to Israel, and feeling this sense of, have we been left behind? Do you not believe in us? Do you not remember the Holocaust? Do you not remember what happened on October 7th? I found myself so confused by it all, and fabulously finding my way to the book of Jeremiah, and then finding my way to the words of Walter Brueggemann. I recognized that this writing in this book by Omar El-Akkad invited me to understand a different story, a first-person story that could talk about the empire that we ourselves here in America are living in. As an outsider, as someone who is Muslim, as someone who is an immigrant, as someone who is a journalist, as someone who loves the beauty of what is possible within this democracy, and also sees how much harm there has been done in our name. I found myself in the depths of sadness, in the depths of outrage, in the depths of what I think the prophets are feeling very similarly in that book of Jeremiah, that sense of why can't we find our way to and towards another path. And then I heard these words because I was listening to it as an audiobook from Omar al-Akkad, who said, alongside the ledger of atrocity, I keep another. The Palestinian doctor who would not abandon his patients even as the bombs closed in. The Icelandic writer who raised money to get the displaced out of Gaza. The American doctors and nurses who risked their lives to go treat the wounded in the middle of a killing field. The puppet maker who, injured and driven from his home, kept making dolls to entertain the children. The congresswoman who stood her ground in the face of censure, of constant vitriol, of her own colleagues' indifference. The protesters, the ones who gave up their privilege, their jobs, who risked something to speak out. The people who filmed and photographed and documented all this, even as it was happening to them, even as they buried their own dead. It is not so hard to believe, even during the worst of things, that courage is the more potent contagion, that there are more invested in solidarity than in annihilation. What a fabulous weaving together of this moment. A fabulous seeing of the ways that humans rise up against evil and harm and find our way towards making a different future, a different world, a different place for us and for our granddaughters and grandsons and great-granddaughters and great-grandsons. I am reminded of the ways that Rebecca Solnit illustrates in her book, Hope in the Dark. The ways then horrible things happen, people find themselves towards one another. May we not give up on our grief and our rage. May we allow it to go through us and channel into the best of what we can offer, not just to ourselves, but out into the world. May we, like Jeremiah, like Elchad, and like Brueggemann, face and imagine together a world we are hopeful for, a world we are proud of, a world that welcomes us all in. Give us eyes to see and ears to hear and courage to step out without any fear. Give us wisdom to know the way to go. God be with us, Spirit be with us. God be with us on this journey of faith.
Good morning. I'm Duncan Glover. I'm also a member of the annual Fund Drive Committee. And I was going to give a short version of why my wife and I come to First Parish, why we love First Parish, and why we pledge at First Parish. But I think we're running out of time, so I'll hold that to maybe next week or the following week, and in the interest of time. Today's offering will be split equally with the local food pantries, and I encourage you to donate generously. Thank you. Our offering will now be taken.
invite you to rise in body or spirit and sing hymn number 86, Blessed Spirit of My Life. You may be seated. Our worship has ended. Our service in the world now begins. Go from this place knowing you are good, you have the truth that is needed, and that together we can imagine and create a different kind of a world, welcoming and accepting of all. Amen.